Hi, it's Megan, and welcome to my art studio. I know it's boring and beige, but I have some plans to fix it, just not today. Today, we're here to talk about the tiny sketchbook. I just finished painting 59 tiny paintings in the tiny sketchbook, and here's what I've learned. First, if you missed the tiny sketchbook series, you can view, there's a playlist to watch all of the videos for. Technically, there are only 58 painting videos because I didn't record the first one because I just wasn't sure, there it is, if I should record these, but then it was like, of course I should record them. Anyway, so I recorded 58 of the 59 paintings in the tiny sketchbook so you can watch them all in a row in a playlist. Um, and why 59 paintings? Because there were 59 pages in the tiny sketchbook. Actually, if I'm remembering, I think there might have been 60, but the first page, you can kind of see it's like a little bit torn. It was like stuck together. And so when I ripped it out, it like ripped, or when I, tried to peel it apart, it like ripped out. So could have been 60, but it's just 59. I started the Tiny Sketchbook series for two reasons. First, I wanted to build a painting practice. So I've been an artist for like decades, but in the past years, I haven't had the consistency with painting that I want to. And to build a skill, you have to practice. Even seasoned painters have to practice painting to get better and to build skill and to just, progress. So by painting a small prompt each day, usually like around 15 to 20 minutes max per painting, I was able to build a consistent painting practice, which was like goal number one. It was important to me that each painting wasn't going to take all day. I meant it as almost like a warm up, like a practice. And part of the reason I decided to do the like tiny sketchbook was to have like a sense of completion at the end of each painting. It's like I've done my warm up, I've done my practice, and there it is. There's the final thing. I have something to show for it. So that was one of my goals. And the other reason I decided to do this series was to get more comfortable filming myself because, with age and time, we all get more comfortable and confident in our skin. Well, I guess I shouldn't say we all. I am certainly a lot more confident in my skin at my age now than, even a decade ago. So, but I still feel super awkward on camera. So I am working through it. We are powering through because that is what we do here. Insert motivational phrase here. I'm looking over here because I have my notes. Anyway, so I got comfortable filming my artwork, showing my face sometimes, doing voiceovers, doing the editing. So that was another goal of doing this, filming this entire sketchbook series. And I just launched this YouTube channel this year. So it's really exciting to watch it grow. We started at 0, obviously, because that's, we started from the bottom and now we're here. So we started at 0, and now there's almost, at the time of filming this, there's almost 600 people here, and that's so rad. I think that's so cool to build something like this. So I'm really excited to continue posting painting videos on this channel. So subscribe for painting content. You can also tell me, you can do like requests in the comments. You can like request things to paint and so on. So, but yeah, it's exciting that to see it grow from literally 0 when I started the channel in February of 2025 to like almost 600 people. I think I'm just like super grateful everybody's here. So that was another goal, is to like get comfortable filming videos and posting them. So I didn't really have rules or guidelines or anything when I was painting the tinies. I used acrylic paint to paint, and that's partly because the paper in the sketchbook, it's not like super high quality. It definitely wouldn't hold up with watercolor. I feel like it's just too thin. You really need like thick paper for watercolor paint because it like can absorb the moisture. But for acrylic paint, it was fine. And actually, I only painted on one side of the painting, but I think I really could have painted on this side too. Okay, so no rules. I used acrylic paint, but like, how did I come up with each prompt? It kind of depended. I didn't paint every single day. I waited for some kind of inspiration to strike, but it did kind of like keep my eyes open to things around me and things I might like to paint. Sometimes I would paint like if it was like a holiday, so I'd paint something kind of on theme for the holiday. Like there was like a Valentine's Day painting. And sometimes I would paint just to like zone out and relax. Sometimes I painted to challenge myself and push myself. So those are really kind of like the three different. Well, also sometimes I painted to teach, like to show you how to paint something. So those are really the different categories of like the different paintings, but I didn't set out with like a set list of things that I wanted to paint. I just each day I would just kind of like think of something. And like I said, each painting only took about 15 to 20 minutes because I intended this to be a practice. I didn't want it to take all day. I didn't want it to like eat up all of my time. It was meant to be a practice. So each painting really did take around 15, 20 minutes at the most, with the exception of this one, which took forever. Way longer than I expected it to. But most of these, a lot of these even took like less time than 15 minutes. Like some of the simple ones, like that one, 10 minutes or less. But yeah, the Starry Night painting took the longest by far. So all of the supplies that I used are linked in the description, so you can check those there, including the tiny sketchbook. It's a 2-pack actually. But I discovered some supplies along the way that I really liked. So one is this super fine tipped Posca. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. It's like super fine tip. So I liked outlining with that a lot, like doing some of the liner drawing. This is a 0.7 millimeter tip, and again, linked below. Some of the links might be affiliate links, which I get a commission on, but it's no extra cost to you. So thank you for shopping using my links. Um, and then these are really cool. These are Zeyar, Zeyar is the brand, liquid chrome paint markers, and they're like super metallic. Like they're so good. Oh, well, that's the skinny tip. I want to show you the thicker tip. Hold on. There, can you see? If I block it, maybe. Not really. So these are super metallic. I really love the like sheen of these. So these are my go-to metallic paint markers now. And like I said, everything else that I use, the paintbrushes, the water cup, like all of that, the tape that I like to use, it's all linked in the description. Start your own tiny sketchbook journey. So like I said, one of the goals of the Tiny Sketchbook project was to get more comfortable posting on YouTube and on the internet. And like I said, I just launched this channel and it's been so cool here on YouTube. I love it. I love the people. Most people have been really nice and kind in the comments. It's been a really positive experience. And I was nervous about like mean people in the comments. At my core, I'm like a super nice person. So I love hanging out with nice people. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being kind and nice in the comments. I will always be kind to you too. One of my core values is to find joy and find happiness and look for fun just kind of along the way. I don't want to live like a boring life. I don't want to be sad or upset. If I feel those feelings, I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Let's figure it out. Let's move on. I don't want to sit in a negative feeling. I want to find the joy. I've had enough happen in my life. If you don't know my story, that's, a story for another time, but we have one life that we get to live, and I want to spend my life doing things that make me happy and generally existing in a positive mindset. So, like I said, I was a little bit nervous about mean people on the internet, but absolutely has not been the case. It has been mostly positive. So I just super appreciate that, and thank you for being here. Another thing about posting on the internet. So I post on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And it's so funny to see how different or how the same video will perform differently on the different apps. Posted at roughly the same time, same everything. And it'll like pop off on YouTube and then get like 200 views or whatever on TikTok. It's just so interesting how the videos perform differently, and the different apps with the different algorithms and all that. So I found that really interesting and just like cool to notice. You know what I mean? I do love a spreadsheet. I'm an absolute data nerd, so I really like knowing that kind of thing. Okay, so I get asked which ones are my favorites or which one is my favorite. And it's too hard to choose. But I did discover kind of like some categories I like to paint in. And one of them is when things have different textures. Like, for instance, this is one of my favorites in the Tiny, and I like the different textures. There's like the wooden handle, the metal kind of rod part, and then like the wet paint part of the roller. I really like that one. And then similarly, kind of later on, I painted another paintbrush. It was kind of the same idea where it was like the wood, the metal, the bristles, and then the shiny paint. I think that one turned out really cool. I really like that one. So I really like painting things that have like different textures like that. Um, Also, I love to paint a gradient. So those are the ones that like allow me to turn my brain off. Painting a gradient. Love to paint a sky. Love it. I love to paint a gradient, and like these are the relaxing ones. This is how I chill out and zone out. I really like that one. And this one, here's an example of that fine tipped Posca marker. Love that one too. So painting gradients, those are some of the ones where, early on in the video, I was like, one of my kind of motivators was like, sometimes I would just paint to chill out. Whenever I paint a gradient, that is me chilling out. So animals were another common theme that I enjoyed painting in the sketchbook. Like, I love this colorful dog, and I really love how this turtle turned out. So, really like the animals. And then I paint a lot of flowers, like, as a person. You should check out my website. I have collections of birth flower artwork and then Texas wildflowers. They're all done in watercolor, so you can check those out. But so there's a ton of flowers and like plants in the Tiny Sketchbook. So here's the lily of the valley. I really like that one. And then I also really like how the bluebonnets turned out. So those are a couple of flowers that I super enjoyed painting. And then this one, like I've said, this one took me the longest. It was definitely also a challenge. Same with the water droplets. Well, it was a challenge. It didn't take me like a super long time, but I've just never painted water droplets like this. So I really enjoyed doing that one. And that one was one that kind of pushed me to practice and to like do something I've never done before. I'm also weirdly proud of the stand mixer. I just love how that one turned out too. Oh, and I love how Blue Yoshi turned out. Painting this reminded me of a mural I painted. So I don't actually paint characters in other people's house or houses, but I'll paint characters in my house. I don't have any right now because my son's older. But when my son was a baby, I painted, well, actually, it was before he was born. I painted his nursery with a Mario mural. So painting this reminded me of painting that. So that was fun. That was a fun memory. And then also painting the bubbles. I did a bubble mural too, and that reminded me of painting the bubble mural. So it's funny how paintings I've done in the past kind of informed paintings I did in the Tiny Sketchbook. And then some of the paintings in the Tiny Sketchbook actually went on to inspire some painted magnets they're available on my website. And I'm going to continue painting those magnets. But like this one inspired a magnet, the popcorn inspired a magnet, this one inspired a couple of magnets. So it's just cool how, that just keeps happening. And that's just another benefit of doing a sketchbook challenge like this is it just gets your creative juices flowing, and some of the paintings that you do or the drawings that you do or the artwork you create might go on to inspire future pieces too. Okay, and I can't list my faves without talking about the ones that I don't love. So this one I don't really feel like turned out like I wanted. I think the clouds are weird, didn't really like it, but still a learning process, right? And then this one didn't really achieve the effect I was going for, and but it was the same thing. It's like, okay, well, now I know what not to do. And now I can paint it better going forward. So even when you paint something that you feel like is bad and you like don't want to share, you don't want to tell anybody or whatever, it's still good because it's still a learning experience. You learned something, you got better, you practiced, and so that is a net positive. Okay, so what's next? I finished the sketchbook, it's done. Now what? Well, if you were paying attention earlier or if you already saw my short, you know that I actually have 3 more tiny sketchbooks to fill. So this is actually, it was a 2-pack tiny sketchbook, and then I wound up with another 2-pack. So I have 3 more tiny sketchbooks. So I'm going to continue the tiny sketchbook series because I loved it as a warm up so much. Although I am going to sprinkle in other series kind of like as I'm doing that. One of those is these Pantone postcards. So there are 100 of these, and each one has the color and then the Pantone number on the front, and then the back is a postcard. So that's fun. And I'm going to paint all of these with like the theme of the color that's on the front. So this one's yellow, but then there's like all the colors, right? So I'm excited to do that. It's 100 paintings. They're slightly bigger than my tiny sketchbook, but they're still small paintings. So that's another fun series that I'm gonna kind of like do as I do another tiny sketchbook. I'm also going to continue my watercolor florals. So I have watercolor birth flowers available for purchase on my site. Same with Texas wildflowers. So I'm going to continue those series and more watercolor florals. And then I have something I am so excited about. I'm not quite ready to announce it yet, but another series that I'm going to do that takes art prompting to like a whole new experience and level, and I'm just like really excited to do it. It's going to be so fun, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be super fun, a little chaotic, and I am just like super pumped for it. So I'm going to share those videos here on YouTube too. And so yeah, that's like what's coming up. I've got more tinies, the Pantone cards, more watercolor, and a super fun top secret surprise series. And for now, thanks for watching. Subscribe to stay in the loop with these new series. Thank you if you're already subscribed. Like I said, I think it's so cool that we're already up to almost 600 people. Like, that's so rad. You can watch my tiny sketchbook painting playlist here. If you missed any of those videos, they're all neatly packed right here. And again, thank you also to my Patreon supporters. It's only $5 a month, and I'm always looking for more ways to add value. I have a couple of ideas I want to try, so check out my Patreon and join and subscribe. And it's only $5 a month. So let me know if there's something you want to see, something you think would be rad in Patreon, something you want to see here on YouTube. I'm always open to that kind of, comment and question. Thank you for watching this one, and I will see you in the next one. I just oh my God, my microphone. Wait, go ahead and subscribe. There. Oh, I dropped it.